Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Greetings and salutations. This is, and I quote, a weekly show where we introduce you to some of the best creators from all over the world, and we find out more about them by taking your questions. I am your host, Ryan of And I Quote Channel, and our guest, that's right, you heard me right, plural, guest on this episode is the dynamic duo, indie writing dynamic duo. No, not the dynamic duo from the 60s or 95's Batman Forever. I'm sorry to disappoint you. They're not here with us. But please welcome Trevor and April to the stage. Hello, you two fine young people. How are we today?
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Doing well, thank you.
Glad to be here.
Very happy to have you here. We're also very happy to have you here, maybe watching and listening to this right now. So do not forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. If you're watching us live or on the replay, thank you so much for doing that. If you have any questions for the guests of honor, Trevor and April, let us know in those comments. Let us know in the chat. We're more than happy to hear from you as they come in respectively. With that being said, whoever wants to start this, Trevor or April, let's go with Trevor if you don't mind first. What were some of your favorite books or writers growing up, Trevor?
Oh, I cut my teeth back in the 80s, so I was reading Pulp Fiction from the 60s and 70s. But probably some of the lead best, Ray Bradbury, Arthur C. Clarke, Isaac Asimov for my science fiction, and Alan Dean Foster, Spider Robinson, any book that was published for the D&D TSR publication for Dungeons and Dragons from Tracy Hickman and McCaffrey, P.N. Elrod. So it was pretty eclectic. Every school I went to, it was sort of a race to see if I could get through the library before I moved to another school. I was a military brat, so we moved around a lot.
Wow. Okay, so that's definitely not light reading. Maybe a bit heavy. But what about you, April? What were some of your favorite books or writers growing up?
So Terry Brooks was probably my absolute favorite. His Sword of Shannara series and his Magic Kingdom for Sale. And then one that I don't hear of very much was Stephen R. Lawhead. He wrote the Pendragon series, and that was probably back in '87 or so. And I really enjoyed him. C.S. Lewis, of course. So that was a lot of my childhood books and where I started with fantasy. My dad was an avid fantasy reader and got me into fantasy as well.
Ooh, nice. All right, I can dig it. Just out of curiosity, though, April, what would you say were some of your favorite movies, past or present, whether they were something you watched growing up or something you like now? And it could be something in the genre that you're familiar with, or maybe something outside of the box.
Well, I absolutely love the trope of treasure hunting. So Indiana Jones,
yes.
National Treasure. I also love Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Tomb Raider. So that's a lot of the genres that I really like. I watched a lot of the old Star Trek, but once they moved past that, I lost interest. So definitely more of a Star Wars girly than Star Trek. So.
Wow. Okay, we just became best friends. You just named a whole lot of properties that I also, to a certain extent, enjoy. I'm not familiar with the Trek as I am with the Wars, because I grew up with Wars rather than the Trek, but that's okay because I'm still learning as I go along. I'm quite a bit young, but still I digress. What about you, Trevor? Any favorite movies that stand out to you, past or
super
present?
Eclectic. My father for a while was a manager of a video store, so I had an unlimited supply of videos. But again, dating myself, any of the fantasy classics as well as the science fiction classics, and I'll just name drop from Krull to Space Pirates to Time Bandits to Last Unicorn, Heavy Metal, Princess Bride, Legend, Labyrinth. I mean, if there was a Jim Henson Muppet or Jim Henson was associated anyway, it was definitely on my list. If there was a wizard, Dragon Slayer was an absolute favorite for not just the dragon, but the wizards. Never-ending Story, of course. But yeah, it definitely dates me as a Gen Xer. That was where I cut my teeth on fantasy movies. But it's been constant. it's once you fall in love with the genre, you don't leave it. So when Lord of the Rings went from a book to a series of movies, of course, and then watching the comic book franchises go from the deplorable attempt in the 70s to the modern day capabilities with computer generation, AI assisted. It's just been amazing to see a book and writing and comic books become, live action. So they're ADHD. So if it's out there, I've tried to see it.
I mean, all these properties you just name drop, both of you are just gifts. Honestly, they really are. No, and that's every 5-year-old kid's dream, is to have a family member or a close friend who owns a video store, and you go to their store every single day and you get free movies for the rest of your natural born life. So well done, good sir. Well done. I'm jealous. I'm very, very jealous. It's okay. But listen, we had Blockbusters. We had Errol's, which is a local thing for us here in Maryland. It's okay. We had our fun. I mean, I've gotten it for free, but it's okay. It's okay. I still like you. It's cool. We'll let it slide. It's no harm, no foul. But great name drops. Honestly, all of them are great. Favorite TV series, past or present, Trevor?
Past, present.
Yeah.
Firefly. If there was a science fiction or fantasy series that made it only one season, I was probably in love with it. From Misfits of Science to John Doe, but the great ones, of course, all the stars: Battlestar Galactica, Stargate, Babylon 5, Star Wars, Star Trek. I mean, all of them. There wasn't Red Dwarf, Doctor Who. There's not a franchise out there I haven't dabbled in and enjoyed.
Interesting. Life finds a way. What about you, April? Favorite TV series, past or present?
He kind of stole all mine.
Oh, no, you didn't cheat off your partner's paper. Get out of here. What are you doing?
Battlestar Galactica, of course, and
New and old.
New and old, and Stargate. I love Stargate. We actually
Rewatched it.
Rewatched a lot of it, yeah, because it was things you forgot. So yeah, that was a lot of I grew up with all of those things. Like I said, my dad was a fantasy sci-fi guy, and that was one of the few TV shows that we were able to watch together. Otherwise, it was the news. So
you made a decision, and you made it so. See what I did there? It's very good.
I did see what you did there.
Awesome, because he's my favorite captain. # those are the facts. First Contact's my favorite Star Trek movie of all time. Guaranteed. It's what got me into Star Trek, to be honest with you. Fun fact. Yeah. Granted, I didn't see it until a couple years ago during lockdown, but still, better late than never to become a Trek fan, as one might say. And TNG is my favorite cast. Like I said, Picard's my favorite captain. I mean, when he drops the whole line, it must be drawn here, this far, no further script. I mean, or speech. Come on. It's iconic. Just is. Just saying. But good picks all around. There's no question about it. So what was it that made you decide to become writers?
My first.
You're first.
My father had quite the extensive library, and among the volumes, I found this tiny little spiral bound that when I opened it up, a cardboard typewriter came out. It was my mother's. It turns out she had been a stenographer and secretary at some point in life. And I was 9 going on 10, and I asked her what it was, and she explained what it was. And this, again, dating myself, this was manual typewriters day. And she explained what the book was. So I spent the summer learning to type on a piece of cardboard keyboard. And for Christmas, they gave me a typewriter. And I immediately started a family newspaper and started writing short stories to embarrass the family with. And so when I got to high school, it turned out there was a such thing as a typing class. It was the only academic A I've ever gotten, because to get an A, you only needed to do like 35 words a minute. And I was like zipping through that. So any thought I had, I found out I could get it out on a typewriter much faster than I could write it by hand. So then computers come around, of course. So I started writing just because it seemed like my father demonstrated adults had libraries. So obviously, how do you get a library? Somebody has to write books. And so I started writing the stories that I liked, and they came about. And when I met this wonderful woman, she asked me what this pile of papers was I had stashed away in a storage unit. I was like, oh, that's a book I wrote. Just a book I wrote. The next thing you know, I get an editor for my birthday, and The rest is a wonderful history of her helping me manifest from a hobby to a career path.
Wow, man. Force is strong with this family. Clearly, sorry, you're going to be hearing pop culture references all day.
This is the way.
This is exactly. It really is. It really is the way. That's how we do things around these parts of the 100-acre wood. Oh, bother. Sorry, that's another line from another property. Winnie the Pooh, you're awesome. Don't forget about that, Jim Cummings. You're the man. What about you, April? What made you decide to become a writer?
Well, I had taken a class called Children's Literature. It was a correspondence course. And in the course of doing that, I was also in college at the time as well. I got published in Highlights Magazine and Ranger Rick for a story called How Seeds Travel. And so children's books was something that I was looking into, but college and life got in the way, and I had children of my own. So I kind of put that to the side. And when I met him, we started playing Dungeons and Dragons. And he is a dungeon master that very much wants you to have track sheets. So you write down what you learned in the game or what happened in the game. It's kind of a historical, so you can look back and say, oh, wait, we picked this up. And so I took those track sheets and wrote the first book. And I have to tell you, it's difficult to write from track sheets where you're telling about the game to make it an interesting book. So, and that's been my challenge. But yeah, that's how I started writing and wrote my first book.
Ooh, unique turn of events, unique corners. Everyone starts at different places at different times. Fork in the road. So we give it take different segments of a road. But thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for being with us. You may be watching or listening to this right now. Don't forget to like and share with your friends. If you have any questions for our guests of honor, Trevor and April, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. And yeah, don't forget, watching live on the replay. Thank you for doing so. Well done. What would you say are some of the biggest rewards about being a writer? Whoever wishes to start on this one.
I'll start. I think the biggest reward is hearing the fans, the people, through whether it's a review or just a direct email, kind of getting what you were getting at. Because we put a lot of Easter eggs in our books as well. It's written in a world that he created, that Trevor created. And so a lot of the books interconnect. And when they pick up on that interconnection and they're like, hey, wow, I saw that. That to me is rewarding. So.
Awesome. What about you, kind sir?
I am most excited when somebody has the reaction to my writing that I had to other great writing. And that's basically when they get you in the feels. I don't want to use trauma as the example, but it's always the easiest to grab off the top of the pile. But joys as well. So when a character faces an overwhelming challenge and is in the prelude of the storm and they're terrified about completing their task, and then in the end they're successful. I mean, how many times have you dropped a book and raised your hands and in victory over the hero accomplishing their goal, or had to stop reading because your feels are so strong and you look around at the rest of the world and they're just going about their business and not caring about the sword and the stone or anything like that. And so, yeah, when somebody reports back that they had the feels that I was trying to convey that I had when I wrote it, that's what gets you.
Mm-hmm. Fist pump moments, as one might say. So, yes, No, I get that. Overcoming obstacles, big one. Flip side of the coin, though, what are some of the biggest challenges about being a writer?
Well, we're in the middle of editing hell right now, so I think that's a big challenge. Editing your work and going, sometimes you're like, oh, I wrote that. And other times you're like, oh, I wrote that. And so I think that's probably challenging for me, is to go back through it and edit it out. So
yeah, when you're on a tear and you feel like the story is just flowing from you and you're all excited about it and you turn around. The great thing about working collaboratively is you get to turn around immediately, burden the other person with having to listen to the rough draft. And you're like going back and reading it, you're like, it sounded a lot better in my head when it was going on paper. And now it sounds like I had Tourette's and I'm I'm mildly mentally handicapped and might be having a stroke. I don't know. I don't even know what that was. I fell asleep writing one time, completed 5 pages of gibberish, and somewhere in the middle of that was a paragraph of actually quality text I was amazed to find. But unfortunately, that's the thing. So as independent authors, the first thing we do is edit the hell out of our own stuff before we actually send it off to a paid editor who is supposed to have much more skill set than us to then slash our darlings to pieces and send it back to us with, you could do better. And then we do better before we publish. So that's the hardest part. Writing, unfortunately, is only 20% of being an author. The other 80% is the drudgery.
The marketing, there's so many hats that an independent author has to wear. So, but yeah, a lot of that and trying to figure out all those things, because really all you want to do is sit down and write, but that's not all you get to do.
Right.
No, that's very true. Yeah, and I feel the same way. Once I get an idea and it really starts to flow and I start hitting the keyboard, it's all good. And then you realize, oh wait, I think I made a mistake here. I gotta send this to an editor of mine and see what they have to say, because it could, it could be shaping up, trimmed, whatever, add stuff, trim the fat of it. I don't know. It depends. Every story and every genre is different. Let's just put it that way. But fair points by both of you. Fair points. So what advice would you give to aspiring writers out there?
You get to take this one first.
It's hard to give advice that hasn't already been given by 1,000 other people. Number one being practice your art, finish what you started, and then be willing to let it go, because you're not going to get a quality finished product unless you're willing to relinquish some control of it, some editing, and then acknowledging your weaknesses as a writer and then trying to improve that. So Stephen King, in his On Writing book, which gave me like the cornerstone and some of my writing advice, was that your best book should be the last one you wrote. So always improve your craft, because you always want the next one you write to be better than the previous. So yeah, practice, and improve your craft.
Yeah, and I think that along those lines is that if you're a new writer, there's a big imposter syndrome, like, oh, nobody's going to like this story, or this story's been done before. And, the famous quote of, you can't edit a blank page, write it, put it out there, do it, so that you can improve and get better and continue writing. And if that's what you want to do and you're passionate about it, don't let all those negative feelings and those little voices that are niggling in the back of your head stop you.
Mm-hmm. Well said. She's right, Words of Morgan Freeman. You may have seen that meme where he points a finger in the air and either says,
you haven't dropped an Easter egg I haven't caught. But
there you go. See, we're getting better.
Omelets.
I know. I got to work on my material. That's my biggest problem with this show, is I got to work on my material more often, Trevor. It's just sometimes I don't get a chance to do it, and I apologize for that in advance. It happens, folks. It happens. It's called show business for a reason. So just feel free to look it up if you don't know what I mean. But in the meantime, outside of the fact that I need to work on better material, for someone who's unfamiliar with this, and in the case of an elevator, or no, there's an elevator pitch. There's also the words of how did this come about. So let's go with that for a second. This bad boy here, the Blood Walks. They have a cave troll. What exactly is this, and how did this come about?
So that is the Blood It Works, and it is from my track sheets from our D&D game. Elwyn is the main character. And she's an elven ranger whose entire family was annihilated by orcs, and she totally decides that vengeance is the way to go. And so her vow is to wipe orcs from the face of Kinthur. And it is a very fast-paced, action-packed adventure. And if you want to know more about Kinthur, the Blood of Orcs is where you're going to want to go, because they go all over Kinthur, and you learn all kinds of lore, and you learn all kinds of places on Kinthur. So yeah, it's very fast-paced and action-packed. It's exactly how I like to read action, which is not a lot of processing, not a lot of repeating, not a lot of, I want fast-paced action. And so I wrote it like that.
Yeah, it was funny when, of all the books we've put out, the Knights of Airygon series is the only one that's actual gameplay turned into story. whereas the other series are what I would call background information and history of Kinthur that informs the games. Because by the time my players came along, I had already written the first 8,000 years of history as background so that they would have something to play with, to play among. And then I started gaming in the 90s, and by the time she came along in the 2000 somethings, 15, 16?
15.
Then I was already in the year 10,100 or something.
Yeah,
so I had added another 2,000 years of history. So the books that I've written solo are the history that the collaborative works are playing in. So there's Easter eggs from one history to her character's present day and back and forth. So that's an entertaining piece. She's like, oh, I'm including this character. I'm like, I've got a history for that. So yeah, but Blood of Orcs was it was a blast too, coming up with that cover, because the main character is an elven ranger, but rather than go a female elven ranger, but when we landed on the dynamic orc cover image, we were just like, that's the winner right there. That's devastatingly eye-catching, and that'll make someone stop scrolling and go, what the hell?
Very true. Yeah, when I saw that and I saw the word orcs, I'm like, oh, Lord of the Rings. I get that. Orcs. You know, and because I can't help it. It's what comes up to my mind. And then, Boromir finds out they have a cave troll coming at him. So it's like, hey, orcs here, cave trolls, and whatever else comes out of the woodwork. So who knows, right? It's
Absolutely.
big arsenal that Middle Earth has. Saruman. So, sorry, Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite movie of that trilogy, respectively. It's very, very good to me. So, just saying. But congratulations on that. Blood of Orcs sounds really, really cool. Sounds really, really fun. So we'll have to, maybe who watch and listen to this right now, have to add it to your list. Get yourself a copy. Links are in the description below, where you can follow all the wonderful, incredible things that these two fine folks are doing.
Now, that's the first book in a trilogy. The third book in that trilogy, we're in editing right now, Quest of a Goddess. So that should be out by December.
Yeah.
We should be finished and published by December.
Holiday season. All right. Great way to end 2025, folks, with the holiday season. Get a bunch of books for yourself. Why not, right? I mean, honestly, you don't need clothes. You don't need socks or shirts or whatever. Forget that stuff. Get the books. Get the books. I'm just saying. Physical media. It helps everybody. Point blank. There you go. I said it. It's on record, guys. You can't take it. You can't take that away from me. Any special memories for you both at being at book festivals or other events, whether you're there as a vendor or there as an attendee, that stand out to you?
Well, I've been I attended DragonCon on and off for like 20, 25 years. So when we got together and I introduced her to Dungeons & Dragons, I could not mention DragonCon, one of the largest fandom conventions in the southeast of the USA, in Atlanta on Labor Day weekend every year. And no amount of stories I told her could compare her when she finally got to attend one.
Absolutely.
So we attended a little sci-fi fantasy corner where we got to meet a lot of other authors. We never premiered there, had a table there, but we got to rub elbows with a lot. It was a meeting some of those authors in my earlier years helped me get over my hump and finish the manuscript to start with. But yeah, meeting some of your heroes, especially as an author, was pretty awesome.
Yeah, Jim Butcher with the Dresden Files and Patricia Briggs with the Mercy Thompson series. We got to meet those authors.
I got to meet Laurel K. Hamilton of the Anita Blake series. I'm a big fan of the urban supernatural paranormal stuff too.
And then we went to RavenCon, which is a small con in Virginia, writers convention. And I got to meet my childhood hero, Terry Brooks, and got his autograph. So and that was a really interesting con that we had gone to because it was all writers and learned a lot and got to do a lot of great panels there.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great stories about DragonCon over the years. A lot of friends of mine table down there at DragonCon, and they said, you got to get down here at some point. I'm like, well, from all the stories I've heard, it's a party that never ends, and it's in like 6 hotels that take up like 60 different floors. So a weekend's not nearly enough time to explore all that square footage, if you know what I mean, right?
That's why I kept going.
Yeah, well, one of these days I do hope to get down. That's a goal of mine and some friends of ours in the podcasting and indie writer community. So we hope to get down there and rub elbows, like you said, with some of the bigger fish in the sea, so, or the big sharks, just not Bruce the shark, because it doesn't end well for people who meet, my name is Bruce, Bruce the shark. So just throwing it out there. Yeah, I know, right? But no, that's great. Yeah, Dragon Con's on our list, so hopefully we'll make it down there. We'll see some fellow writers and things like that. And we'll figure some stuff out. Just out of curiosity, though, when it comes to Dragon Con, I know there's only so many names to go around, but do the names Bobby Nash or Keith R.A. DeCandido or Robert Greenberger, Mary Fan, Russ Colchimiro, any of those names ring any bells?
I'm bad with names.
Yeah.
Bad with
I
names.
literally have to read your bibliography in order for me to get a name stuck in my head. Wait, Nash?
Bobby Nash.
Bobby, I think, didn't you interview him though?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that interview.
Yeah, he writes the Snow series. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's a friend of mine.
Name drop.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. Probably doesn't ring a bell necessarily for you, but it's okay. There's only so many names. Like you said, are you better with faces than names? Is that it?
Absolutely.
Fair enough. It's okay. Sorry, these are just the covers of their books, so I don't have their actual author headshots here on the set.
Quite all right.
It's all right.
It's bad for me. I killed a character in chapter 12 once and then killed him again in 28th. And it was until my editor was like, you can't kill the same character repeatedly if you don't bring him back first. Like, good points. So I have to fix that.
It's okay. It's okay. Outside of this show and off camera, I'll send you some links to some other writers of mine, and you can see if you're familiar with them or not, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
Just throwing that out there. It's all about networking, ladies and gentlemen. So, understandably so. Do you intend to table or be at some other events somewhere down the line, or is that kind of on the back burner? What's the plan with events moving
Down the
forward?
line, for sure. Yeah. There's a certain amount of back catalog we want to have completed before we're comfortable with that, partly for financial reasons and partly just for the sense of wanting to be complete, because you're like she said, you're wearing so many hats, so many plates are spinning. You take quite a bit out of your schedule to do something in person like that. So
Absolutely. Yeah. We would love to vend at Dragon Con or even Raven Con or any Comic Con or any of the big cons. But getting some completed series and having some, you don't want to show up there with a little stack of books. You want up there with, a lot of series that people can read through.
yeah, and a word to the consumers, those people who aren't writers, who are just big fans and readers. You don't realize how much expenditure of time, effort, and money an author, especially the indie authors, go to in order to attend those conventions. Even the medium-sized names, like the ones you mentioned, you're shelling out thousands of dollars with a crossed finger, hoping that you either recoup your cost or at least make enough of an impression on the fan base that it'll pay off down the line. So it's a huge endeavor, and hats off to the authors who have made that work for them, either because they're driving around everything local to them, or they're making the big jump into international travel to attend all these conventions. So it's an effort, and if you're a fan out there and you've had the opportunity to meet authors in person, whether it's at a Barnes and Noble or at a convention, be kind, be thoughtful, be appreciative, and because we're all just humans out here trying to share something we love.
Absolutely.
Words to the wise. Absolutely so. Yeah. The more people I've met, the more people I've talked with, the more I realize, it can be draining at times. Getting your stuff out there, going to events, it's a lot. It's a big process, like you mentioned earlier. So it's completely understandable. Where do you see Chronicles of Kinthur moving forward the next 5 or 10 years? Where are we going to see this thing? You got a Kevin Feige 50,000 book movie plan like he does, or what?
It would be nice. When she encouraged me to start publishing, she gave me a little corner of the house we used to have, and I plastered it with looked like a conspiracy theorist of me planning out all my books and everything. And at the time I had 2 books out.
Right.
And on the wall, I have 26 outlined, planned, and designed. She walks in and goes, "You're going to be dead before all these are out. You're writing too slow." So that's when she started collaborating with me. So another series went out, and that was in addition to the 26 on the wall. So now there's going to be a minimum 30 books, plus the plethora of short stories we've started putting out, which I call the Tales of Kinthur, which are basically the fables that if you grew up in Kinthur, these are the kind of stories you would have grown up hearing, much the way an American hears this tales of Sleepy Hollow or Paul Bunyan or Johnny Appleseed, the Jersey Devil. These characters, these are the tales they grew up hearing. So whether it's long form novellas, or short stories, we're putting it out there. But yeah, we sit back and, you know, in the evening having a cocktail, we might fantasize about what kind of director would bring this to life the best. Is this a Tim Burton production? Is this a Michael Bay production? Is this some young director who's only 25 right now that we've never heard of, who might be able to make our writing into something that would bring the fans, you know, out there into it? So George Martin said he was really glad that Game of Thrones didn't get turned into a series until he was much older, so that he could appreciate it and it wouldn't go to his head. I wish he would just finish his next book so that so we can see how the books finish out.
Absolutely. So yeah, just continue writing, and I've got a series that I'm starting that's going to be a romantasy about a green witch and an elemental, and we'll see how that goes.
That's a great thing about fantasies. You can explore all the subgenres so easily. Human condition, you know, romantic endeavors and relationships, action, adventure, epic. And we like to explore all the subgenres within fantasy.
Yeah, because our characters aren't one-dimensional. They're characters. They live a life in Kinthur. So there's so many aspects of them, and we want to bring that forward.
Yeah. So Amazon, Netflix, if you're listening, these would make great series.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, but that was actually going to be one of our follow-up questions. Yeah, do you see these things becoming animated or live action at some point, maybe as a movie or a series somewhere? And if so, do you have any casting or directors in mind you want to have helming this thing?
I always said I would choose actors who were young, or not young, but relatively unknown, for the simple fact that you can lock them in for the whole series without, you know, blowing the whole budget on one actor. Unfortunately for my generation, some of the greats are already passing away. I used to envision my main character for the Pentakawa series, which is a vampire. I used to envision Patrick Stewart or Ian McKellen as the main character, but obviously, you know, years have gotten away from us. So now I'm like, I need to find a 50-year-old who's in really good health that we can put makeup on to look older, so that they can play this role for another 20 years. And
Yeah.
Elwyn, who would play Elwyn?
That's a great question.
I don't know. I think we looked at that, but I don't remember her name right now.
Yeah.
She's got red hair. Ellen has red hair, so somebody. What I don't like about depictions of elves in
Some fantasy.
in some fantasy and in movies is that they just stick pointy ears on a human. But you know, I'm looking for somebody that's small, petite, got the angular features of an elf that would play it better. So
We need some mutants to play elves.
I don't know if that's quite it, but
Gee willikers, what do you want me to do? Go to the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters and see if we got any mutants that we can borrow from? I mean, sorry, but that's where my mind automatically goes, because I grew up on X-Men as a kid and I still love them to this day. Oh gosh, mutants. Maybe we should get Sentinels thrown in there too. Anybody know?
You know, Warwick used to say if it wasn't for the fantasy genre, little people would have very little success in the world, or exposure, which would help with familiarizing the rest of the world with a minority group. And I completely agree on that. And I think fantasy and science fiction has been a way for people who don't look like the average or conventional idea of beauty to get exposure, to get appreciated and seen. And I think, I'm not going to name drop, but there's plenty of actors and actresses out there who don't conform to standard ideas of American beauty that have proven otherwise. And I think fantasy is going to help with that. I really do think it's a bridge to bringing diversity to the common perception. Does that make sense?
absolutely.
Yeah. It does. Whether it's, you know, you're right, Warwick Davis from the Star Wars series to Willow to everything in between he's done. I think he even did Leprechaun. So yeah, it's lots of stories to be told for sure. And you're right, fantasy is a genre that you can play around with a little bit because there's wiggle room there, right? Because fantasy, I mean, yeah, I guess it's fair to say there's certain rules to a lot of different genres, but also there's not really a whole lot of rules, so you can kind of play with it a little bit. It's more like a bigger sandbox, if I'm saying that right, for fantasy. Maybe I'm wrong.
I agree.
Yeah, I love it when somebody says, "Well, in that time, they wouldn't have done that," and I'm like, "In that time, we're in a totally different world. You know, it's not Earth's history here, so
Yeah,
rules
it's fair.
get changed.
rules get changed."
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. Is there a genre you hope to dive into that you haven't had a chance to write in yet?
Well, she's definitely exploring the romantasy
Yeah.
subgenre much more. I've got quite the catalog of stories that defy the fantasy genre that are either real world or urban, whatever. But those are all on the back burner because Kinthur's been in a passion project since I was 18. And this is just my chance to share it with the world. So I might throw in some short stories either under another pen name or just outside of Kinthur. But for the most part, Kinthur is where I live.
Understandably so. Middle Earth. Only there's only so much you can do at one point. You gotta stay in middle. Stay in the Shire. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Name dropping other properties and other franchises had nothing to do with Chronicles of Kinthur. Sorry, folks. But who is an author, living or dead, you would like to have dinner with, Trevor?
Ooh. Ooh. Have dinner with. That means having
a conversation.
I've got to watch them chew, and they have to watch me chew.
Well, or having an extended conversation with them. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't think about dinner. I mean, I've met so many, but you said living still?
No, living or dead.
I don't want to eat with a zombie. That
no, but living or dead. If you can have dinner or a drink with someone, an author you want to pick someone's brain with, who would you pick?
I think P.N. Elrod. She wrote the Istrad book for the Ravenloft realm in the Dungeons and Dragons game, and I was 21 or 22, and this was obviously for those of you who are much younger. This was before the internet. I met P.N. Elrod at Dragon Con, and P.N. Elrod's a woman. And that was the first time my misogyny came to the forefront. And I realized that I assumed any author that didn't have an obviously female name was a male. And it really changed my mind. I did a 180 on my perception of reading. And she was a lovely woman. I'd love to have dinner with her. And her vampire, I found Istrad moving. And then she wrote a series about a vampire during the Depression era. I think it was Chicago, but I might be wrong with the city. But Depression era America, vampire PI, and I fell in love with that. And so P.N. Elrod, hats off to you for making me rethink gender perception of characters and writing, and realize that P.N. Elrod wrote the way she wrote the same reason J.K. Rowling did, because if the female name was seen on the book, they wouldn't be taken as seriously. So I'd probably send her the invite for dinner.
Okay, fair enough.
Of course, she gets to pick the restaurant.
Right on. What about you, April?
Oh, I think Hemingway would have been a lot of fun to go out drinking with, for sure.
For dinner, it's going to be a martini.
Well, I mean, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, Terry Brooks, again, my childhood author. I think he would be, he's hilarious, by the way. When we saw him at RavenCon, he has those one-liners that are super quippy. So I think he'd be a blast to go have dinner with.
Right on. Interesting names, but I dig it. It's outside of the wheel. It's, maybe for me personally, maybe outside of my wheel, but that's okay because every author is different. No, that's cool. I like that. Good names. So, wish fulfillment. If you rode the magic lamp and the genie comes out, you got 3 wishes. You can use that as one of your 3. So, who knows?
There you go.
I know, right?
Wishing for more wishes.
Exactly.
Right.
That's right. That's 3 wishes to be exact. Ixnay, or the wishing for more wishes. That's right. I watched that movie so many times as a kid. That movie script is tattooed on my brain, Trevor. Honest to God, I've seen it so many times. And by the way, R.I.P. Robin Williams. We're always going to miss you, man. Always gonna
Very
miss
much so.
100%. Always going to miss that, man. 100%. I mean, By the way, you'll see this when you see the tapes, but just to give you a little minor spoiler, one of the clips we use for Writer Showcase is the scene of him as Mr. Keating in Dead Poet Society. I don't know if you're familiar with Dead Poet Society.
Yes.
Words and language, no matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world. Mic drop. There you go. See, there's another fun fact for you watching or listening to this at home right now. Don't forget to like and share. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments, let us know in the chat. And if you're watching us live or on the replay, thank you so much for doing that. All things being, all things cool, all things being equal. But yeah, for sure. Favorite book to movie adaptation, Trevor?
Watchmen. Comic book to movie was, with the exception of the ending that all the fans understood, was probably the greatest comic book to movie adaptation ever made because of its accuracy. It's truth to not just the original material, but the intention, the spirit of the original material. And the original author even said the change for the ending made much more sense. It was much more realistic, and it was definitely an update for the times, even though the story takes place in sort of an alternate, older world. But Watchmen to this day, and I've seen that movie almost as many times as I've seen Labyrinth, Rocky Horror, and Galaxy Quest. So it's definitely the greatest comic book to movie adaptation.
Wow, I'm just jazzed about being on the show, man. April, favorite book to movie adaptation? It's going to be hard to beat that answer, but man.
Right, always he steals the show. But so I'm going to say Dune, and I'm going to say it for a different reason. When I read Dune, because there's so many flashing back and forth between people's thoughts and what was actually happening. To me, it was a very confusing book, but when it was brought to movie adaptation, it made so much more sense to me. And it made me love the book again at that point. So at first I was like, this book is blech. But then after the movie, I was like, oh, let me reread the book. And it really brought it more to life for me. So,
are we referring to the original Sting?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, Sting was good, but I really like the newer one now. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we referring to David Lynch's Dune or referring to Denis Villeneuve's newer iteration of Dune? So, gotcha. Referring to the new one, I'm assuming. So,
yeah.
Yeah, my friend loves that series. He also loves that he's listened to the audiobooks for Dune. So, I don't know. I may add Dune to my Amazon list. Get it for my after I have my birthday gifts. I'll my birthday the gift cards I get normally during my birthday time. I'll just spend it on more books on Amazon, and I'll probably add Dune to that list by Frank Herbert. So stay tuned, more to come. As one might say. Gee willikers. Wow. Well, I gotta tell you, there's some great authors out there, some great names, great stories, by the way. Very, very true. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to both Trevor and April for being our guests on this week's episode of And I Quote. Thank you both, kind folks, for being with us. If someone wants to know more about you and the great stuff you guys are putting out, where can they follow you on social media?
Well, start with the website, Kinthur.com. That's KINTHUR.com. We have a link page on that. You can find us in everywhere from TikTok to Blue Sky to...
So we're on Facebook, of course, and... so we're on all the socials, and you can find us on all of those, even X. And
of course, visit our Patreon, where if you're a paid member for the low price of, I think it's $2 a month, anytime we put out a new short story over on the Zon, our Patreon members get to read it as part of their subscription, and we put at least one out a month. Plus, we put works in progress and updates as we develop covers and the graphic arts and blogs and whatnot. So all that comes as part of the subscription. So visit us on our website, Patreon. You can find us on all the other social medias. We work really hard to try and keep a presence everywhere.
Absolutely.
Kinthur, KINTHUR.com.
Lord. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm going to talk to you here again momentarily, so stick around, as the wise ones would say. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being with us. My name is Ryan of And I Quote Channel. Follow me across all forms of social media simply at And I Quote Channel. Where am I pointing to? There it is, right there below my name. You can follow me across all forms of social media. All the shows, all the different projects I have coming up are going to be posted there. So Linktree is listed in the description of this video. Also, the links where you can follow Trevor and April are listed in the description of this video. So take a look at those links, check them out, follow them, check out their stories, check out their Patreon, as they spoke about a moment ago. Support those who support you, because we're all trying to support each other. I do my best to support as many people as I can out there in the world. Also, we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Once we do, we'll have a live stream that will include special giveaways that you, who is the person who's watching or listening to this program right now, are going to be eligible to win. Also, we have merch. We have hoodies, T-shirts, stickers you can add to your water bottles. We have coffee mugs, things of that nature. It's in our Redbubble store. Link is in the description below. It's also in our social media bios. So make sure you check that out. And the rumors are true. Yes, I have a short story called Wolf of the West that is a part of Veritas Entertainment's anthology called Western Tales Volume 1. It's available in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. Links are in my social media bios and the description of this video, so make sure you check that out. Add something to your TBR, add something to your list of wonderful books or stories you want to read. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, shout out to our good friend Bobby Nash, has a new story in the Snow series called Snow Island. Cue the Hawaii Five-0 theme song, Trevor. Do you remember that? You remember that? I don't know if you do or not. But it's good. Yeah, I have it in the back of my brain. I'm sorry. But Snow Island's going to be releasing next month in October from Bobby Nash, Ben Books, and the cover is designed by Jeffrey Hayes of PlasmaFireGraphics.com, where the look of your book matters to you. I know. It's a stunning looking cover, if I do say so myself. But hey, The Blood of Orcs has a really good cover. I'm not going to sugarcoat that either. All good covers are fantastical. So I'm just saying, it is a gift. So in the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when the videos go up or they go live. And I quotes on Saturdays, 12 p.m. Eastern. Movie watch-alongs are on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. So check all those out. Thank you for being a part of this episode of Quote. And remember, life is better when supporting creators from all over the world. Take a look.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
Trellin of Ulia is a cursed man, and cursed men are dangerous. He has traveled the known world seeking a way to lift his curse. So far, he has not found what he is looking for. When Trellin arrives in the city of Anshi, in the nation of Paraba, he meets a cold reception. The desert nation is unforgiving, its people have proven untrustworthy, and the locals have no love for foreigners. Now, a wealthy stranger offers to lift Trellin's curse for a price, and he must make a choice. Seek a solution elsewhere, or risk imprisonment in the Tower of Ruach, a place from whence no man has ever escaped. The known world of Atera, The Prisoner of Ruach Tower. Now available on Amazon in paperback and on Kindle.
I've been a superhero for a long time. It used to be so simple. You catch the bad guys, do the right thing, save the world. Then I met Aiden, and things got complicated.
Iris recruited me as a kid and turned me into their own personal weapon. I couldn't see any way out until I met Marty. But now we're going to burn their entire organization down if we can.
Forces of Nature, books 1 and 2, Scorcher and Thin Ice are available now wherever books are sold online. See www.kellygentner.com.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.